this final section, we'll find out what's next for Bukka, their proudest achievements to date, and what their ultimate mission accomplished vision looks like. So we've heard about all the incredible initiatives that you've implemented here at Bukka. What's next for you? What do you have in the pipeline?
Well, now that our carbon emissions report is out, we have a fairly good understanding of what our operations impacts are. And we're able to make conscious decisions. We've already had some headway in terms of reductions, and that was based on our offsetting of our electricity consumption. I think the next step would be to address our chilled water usage and our air conditioning usage. That's a low-hanging fruit that we can definitely approach. Obviously looking at our waste, and through our conversation with our partners, we're able to address that. We've already removed the cooking oil from the equation. The next big one would be to address our glass waste. So we're already in talks with our partners for them to pick up the glass bottles and move it into a recycling facility. We want to start looking at our organic waste. So we are already also in talks with a composting solution provider that will pick up our waste and bring back useful compost. So these are obviously for the directions and targets for this year. From that point onwards, we will keep making reductions within the areas that we know. Obviously, we want to move away from the offsetting approach and having the conservation start at the source, at the energy consumption. Those are the things that we have in mind for the next few years.
And do you have targets in terms of percentages, or do you have kind of goals that you want to achieve by a certain kind of time frame?
So we've reduced around 10% in 2021. The target for 2022 is to reduce an additional 15%. So on average, we'd like to think that anywhere between 10 to 15% reduction on an annual basis for the next 5 years is an achievable target for us.
And then for you, Nick, with Rémy Cointreau, what do you see happening going forward in terms of your sustainable practices?
So I think the group's targets are very clear, and I think all the actions at a Maison level are very clear, and I think the teams there are very much empowered to do it. So I think that the big thing for me personally is around how we can start to replicate that more at a local market level. For instance, changing the way that we have previously promoted our products or worked with our partners. Recently, if we talked to Bukka, we did an event here, but was actually through offsetting, but was carbon neutral. You know, the challenge for us is to how do we make that the norm as opposed to the exception, which it is. Another good example would be in this last 12 months across Dubai in different forms, we've collaborated with partners on 4 different gin gardens, purely aesthetic and a very nice activation and a great partnership with some great partners. But I think the future is about how can we do these things but with a greater purpose. So Omar and I have been discussing about how we could do something similar, but instead of it being, say, a gin garden that's purely aesthetic, could it be more like a farm? So the aesthetic for the client is still one of being in nature and being surrounded by beautiful smells and scents, but that they actually served a purpose in the form that they could be harvested for drinks in the bar, for use in the meals that are prepared by chef. And I think that's, for me, it's got to be the big challenge going forward. So it's how do we continue to promote our brands responsibly and safely, but also with a greater purpose.
Sustainability journey is an individual one and is, of course, different for each individual. Today, we shared Bukka's journey, and we hope that you found it useful, interesting, and even inspirational. The drive to a sustainable future will involve us collaborating, working together, and sharing these individual journeys. Rémy Cointreau wants to help share these stories, which leads me to ask, who's next?